Hello everybody, this is Dan from Christie's RV. Today we're going to be taking a look at this 2020 Starcraft Autumn Ridge 180 BHS. We're going to be going over some of the things you need to know once you've purchased this unit. So on the front of the unit you have a single 20-pound propane tank. The propane tank is held in by bolts. You can see them, they're just underneath, so there's a bolt on the front and a bolt on the back. Behind that you have your battery in a box. On the side of the unit you have your fresh water fill. So if you want to fill the fresh tank, you're just going to take the cap off, put your hose in and fill it. Once the tank is full, it's going to start draining underneath the unit. Underneath you have that white valve, that's your drain for your fresh tank. You have your power cord. Now it just pulls in and pulls it in and out. There's approximately 20 feet of cable. You have your water heater. To open the water heater, you just got to twist this tab. It opens up. Now the water heater is controlled from inside the unit. There is a drain plug in here, so to remove the drain plug, it comes out of here. Before you remove the drain plug, you need to bleed the pressure off the system. So to bleed the pressure off the system, you need to just open up a set of taps inside before you pull the plug out. This is your pressure relief valve. It is common for them to drip occasionally. Underneath, you have your sewer hookup. So you just have to twist the cap off, twist the hose on. Then you have your gray and your black holding tank valves. So your black and your gray's there. There's a sewer hose is stored in the bumper. So on this unit, it has stabilizer jacks on the rear, at both corners. So the stabilizer jacks should only be used to stabilize the trailer. They shouldn't be used to aid leveling the unit. So it needs to be level front to back, side to side before you put the stabilizers down. On the back wall, you have your cable and satellite hookup. So if you're hooking into one of those, that's where you're going to put it. You have your city water hookup. So if you're going to hook a hose up to it, this is your fridge vent. So one thing to note is you need to not impede airflow through there, so you can't lean stuff up against it. The hose that sticks out is the drain hose. So if when the fridge goes into defrost, it will actually drip out of there. Up here you have your range vent cover. So to use it, you just need to put your fingers in and push the tabs and open it up. For travel, you need to close it, so you just need to push it closed. You have one receptacle. This one here is your furnace exhaust. In the front compartment is the storage for the crank handle for the stabilizer jacks. So the awning is controlled from inside the trailer. So inside you have your awning controls, so we're just going to extend it, hold the button until it goes all the way out. So electric awnings are not designed to be used in heavy rain or heavy winds. So you need to roll it up if you have either of those things, as well as I'd recommend that if you are not at your trailer, that roll your awning up as well. So now the awning is adjustable for the pitch, so you can lower one or both sides of the trailer awning. So to do that, the lower arm, you just need to pull down on it, and you can tilt it as much as you want. Again, you can do both sides or whichever side you choose. To put it back, you're just going to push it back straight. Due to this design, because it is a friction fit, occasionally you may have to tighten up this pinch bolt Sometimes you'll pull down on it and it won't stay down. It'll just, the awning will kind of come back up. You just need to tighten that bolt up then. To roll the awning up, you're just going to press the retract button and hold it till it comes in. So on top of this awning switch, you have two switches. So one is your interior lights, one's your exterior light. On top of that, you have your monitor panel. So you can test your battery level, the fresh tank level, the black tank level, which is the toilet tank, and the gray tank level. Below that, you have your water heater and water pump controls. So for the water pump, you're just going to flip the switch on. And the water heater, again, you're just going to flip the switch on. So this little LED up in the corner will indicate if the water heater does not light, that LED will come on. Beside that, you have your stereo. You can select zone 1 or zone 2. For the speakers, zone 1 is the inside of the speakers, inside speakers. Zone 2 is the exterior speakers. And you can select whichever one you want. You can have inside or outside or both on at the same time. So below the microwave, you have your hood fan. Just has a switch for a fan and the light. And you have your cooktop. To light the cooktop, you're just going to pick which one you want, turn it on, and then twist the sparker. Now the center burner is the high output burner, so it heats up much faster. So that's the one you need to use if you're going to try to boil water. And then beside that, you just have the switch that turns the lights on the front. Now the fridge controls are in the top of the freezer. So to turn it on, you're just going to press the button on. You have your temperature settings on this side. And then you have a choice of auto or gas. So what it'll do if you're on gas, it's going to be gas only. If you turn it on auto, it's going to use electricity if it's present, or gas if it's not. So if you had it plugged in and the power went out, it's going to automatically switch to propane. And then once the power comes back on, it's going to switch back to electric. If it doesn't light, this little check light will illuminate to tell you it doesn't light on gas. So this is your thermostat for your furnace. So on the top, it has an on and off switch. So to operate, you just have to turn it on. And then the bottom slide, you're going to set the temperature you want. Now the furnace is going to run for 15 to 20 seconds before it lights. And then when it either comes to temperature or you turn it off, it's going to run for another 15 to 20 seconds without the flame running. So here on the face of the bottom bunk, you have your converter or your load center. To open it, you just push in on the middle. It pops open. You have your breakers and your fuses. Everything's labeled. One thing to note with an RV breaker, that it doesn't have the orange indicator like a household breaker. So when these breakers trip, they don't look tripped. So if you have an issue, you need to just try to turn the breaker off and then turn it back on to reset it. Now the air conditioning is controlled from the two knobs that are right on top of it. So you basically have your temperature control and then your fan speed control. To open the slide out, there's a slide out control button here. So you're just going to hold out. So this type of slide out is what they call an in-wall slide out. So it's very important on them that once you get all the way in or all the way out, you continue to hold the button for a few seconds afterward. It won't cause any damage to it, but because there's two motors in this slide system, they need to be synchronized. So sometimes they will get off from each other, and when you get to the wall, it'll actually, then they re-catch up with each other. If you don't do that, there's a possibility that it'll be a compounding issue and it'll continue to be out and out and out, farther and farther. Another thing with the slide out is that it only seals all the way open or all the way closed, so you can't leave the slide out part way. So in this unit, the water system has winterizing bypasses on the water pump and the water heater. So the water pump in this trailer is actually under the front bed. There's a plywood cover, so you got to take a few screws out and then you can move the plywood. So down here you have your water pump. So here you have a valve. So right now we are in summer mode or normal use mode. When you go to winterize, you're going to turn the valve, and then this clear hose can go inside the antifreeze jug, and it'll draw from there instead. Now the water heater is located under the back bunk. So you open the bunk, or mid-lift the mattress, there's another piece of plywood, you got to take a few screws out, and you can get to the water heater. Now the water heater has two valves, one on the top and one on the bottom. Right now we are in summer mode. To winterize it, you need to turn the valves so they're facing with the lines. That'll be your bypass mode. And then down here, these little T-handle valves are your low point drains for the water lines. So if you wanted to drain the water out of the lines, you just pull up on those valves and it'll drain the lines. Inside the bathroom, you got your switches for your light and fan. This is your Gfi Reset. So the plugs that are in wet locations, so the one in the bathroom, the kitchen, and the exterior plug are all controlled through this Gfi. So if it trips for a Gfi reason, it's going to trip here and you have to reset here. So when it's tripped, the little red light's going to be on. You just press the reset here. So the toilet in this unit is foot flush. So to flush the toilet, you push the foot flush all the way to the floor. If you want to add water to the bowl, you just partially depress the pedal and it'll just add water to the bowl. So I think that's just about it for this unit. I hope you enjoy it.